What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to the breakdown. Episode 690. Sponsored by Midnight, Polymarket, Cake Wallet, the People's Reserve. I'll break down the partnerships and the sponsors as we go through the show. Got Landy in the back. Landy's waiting. He's eating, I don't know, I think he's eating crackers or something in the back. Reading the Wall Street Journal or something. Keeps bothering me. Keeps sending me messages at night. Sending me messages about. I think last night he sent me the message that he sent me last night was pretty cool. But otherwise, he does send me like really some weird ass messages. Anyway, welcome Rocky, welcome everybody tuning in from wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you very much for participating and being a part of this show. We're going to go ahead and break down some crypto. Let's get into some crypto, okay? The war stuff, right? The war stuff's a lot. Talking about Iran, it's a lot. Yesterday I was actually on Rob Nelson's show yesterday, and I went crazy. That's right, I went crazy. I'll show you a clip of that if you missed it. I'll show you a clip of me absolutely losing my shit. It was a good conversation. I just lost it. I really did lose it. Anyway, let's bring in Landy. See what Landy's up to. Landy's on episode 690. What's going on, Landy?
How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. What's wrong with you?
I'm good. I'm just looking at markets. Observing the discourse online, which if you take too much of that in, it'll make you go crazy. So right now, just taking a look at markets. It's shall I say, looking like some of the things that I talked about yesterday might start coming to fruition for markets here, specifically on the commodity side for oil and a few other things like Bitcoin headed to some of the areas that I discussed yesterday that you don't want to see Bitcoin head to if you're looking for further upside price action. But, that's kind of the ebb and flow of the market in the current environment that we find things.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even look at the markets today.
They're not terrible, but they're not great. I mean, one of the funnier things I think that I've been responding to over the past couple of days is is this a bear market? And yes, it's a bear market. Now, is it a bear market in terms of Bitcoin's price action? Absolutely. Is it a bear market for cryptocurrencies? Absolutely. The bears are in control. We're in a downtrend. This isn't really an argument, but somehow this has become an argument online about like what this actually is. And I think that realistically, it's opportunity, right? And a lot of people are too busy arguing about what type of market it is instead of trying to identify the opportunity, and that gets very, very tiring. Um, it's also the same conversation that is had every time, that we get close to, starting to see those final lows form, and we're probably in, the next yeah, I would argue probably the next 6, to 7 months of this, and I can't wait for the green candles to come back just so that the narrative, and the type of, feeling within the crypto space kinda changes because we had the washout of a lot of, in my opinion, bad actors. Of course, they'll come back with, the green candles, but the, um now it's all doom and gloom everywhere instead of actually looking for, like, where the opportunities might lie. And that's just kinda, eh. It's kinda just gives you that, eh. Maybe it's just X. I
I
don't know
think
how I don't
because
know
I'm
how
gonna
to
retweet this right now because I want to hear everybody's opinion on this. Or I'm gonna ask: are we in a bear market? I just want to see the sentiment. I
I
just
mean,
do that. Um,
the sentiment I can tell you from people that I don't really understand, um I guess I understand it from the psychological side, like being bullish, right? Yeah, you wanna be bullish in the bear market because that's gonna, keep you engaged and looking for those opportunities. But then there is the denial of what type of a market it is and then arguing about it, and that really doesn't get anybody anywhere, right? It's not gonna help people
you know
identify
what?
the
You
levels.
sound frustrated today.
I'm a little frustrated because the argument keeps coming up, and quite honestly, it comes from the Bitcoin maxi circles.
Okay, so
And
what are the Bitcoin maxis saying?
oh well, obviously it's the most bullish market ever. It's still a bull market. The bull market never went away, or the bull market hasn't started, or this or that. And it's like, look, this doesn't help. These types of conversations don't help people that are listening or trying to identify opportunity in the market. It doesn't help them, right? And I guess, most of it I think is done, purely for engagement. But then there's like people who like ardently want to argue with people like myself about what trend we're in. It's like, bro, we we are in a trend break on a higher term time frame, like a monthly. We are in a downtrend on the weekly. We have dropped more than 50%, um, swing to swing. That is a bear market. Now, instead of getting off of that topic and moving on to other topics like, hey, where can we identify opportunity? Or is there the possibility that we could see significantly higher lows for this bear market? Great. Those are good conversations that are productive, that allow people to get into looking at the market from the perspective of identifying value and where they would like to position themselves as investors, or maybe helping, if traders want to take a look and see possibly where they could identify setups. Great. Those are good conversations in the market. But like we're in this like weird time frame where we have a lot of tension around obviously the specific situation going on in the Middle East. Um, a lot of political tension in the run up to the midterms over a myriad of different subjects, and then that gets brought back into like really hyperbolic, stupid takes, in my opinion, that are very frustrating for someone like myself as an analyst who tries to keep people informed on where to identify value and kind of give a heads up for people who want to learn about, hey, where could this potentially change or turn around, right? And I think it's in favor of like outrage kind of stuff. And we're in that weird time frame within a bear cycle that just gets really frustrating because people don't um they're not interested in actually informing the others that they're talking to, and it becomes a very toxic environment for a period of time, and then it starts to straighten out. I think we're almost there, so it's just a little frustrating. I'm a little
Could,
frustrated.
hypothetically speaking, could people be right in their in their
No,
thought process and say that we are not in the bear market?
no, no, they are factually wrong. There's no in between. It is a factually incorrect take to say that we are not in a bear market. Like, the facts and the evidence and the data and the price chart right in front of everyone is evidence that we are in a bear market. Now, you can discuss, hey, how severe could it possibly be? Could it potentially go lower, or could this be the low? Right? Those are valid discussions to have. But for someone to declare that this is not a bear market, they would be factually incorrect from a structural point of view when looking at the price chart. Because markets don't run on vibes, they run on, actual liquidity and money.
Welcome to the breakdown, episode 690. Landy's mad today. Sponsored by Midnight. Shout out to Charles and Midnight. Also, Polymarket is the official sponsor of the DG brand, along with the breakdown, official prediction market sponsor, and also Cake Wallet, secure wallet, one of the most secure wallets within our crypto ecosystem, and People's Reserve. Use your collateral to go ahead and get yourself a home. What a concept. And I didn't mean that sarcastically. I'm just like, what a concept. Finally. Not that it's not been attempted. It's just like, finally, somebody's pressing this issue. I think you're very angry about this. I'm not even. I'm not even that fired up about that issue. I don't really care.
I mean,
I don't,
it's
because
just
I'm
not
bullish.
actually
I'm
angry.
I'm so bullish.
Well, I mean, you should be bullish when price is going down because that's when you want to get into position for the longer term, right? Especially as an investor, you should be bullish on price going down, right? That's when you want to identify opportunity and buy value in markets. That's when you should be bullish, right? Now, there's a difference between being bullish on that and getting accumulating. And you and I've discussed this at length. Like, you're willing to accumulate here and lower, and so am I, right? But it's this fight to be right on social media that is frustrating. I don't actually get angry about much. It's very tough to get me angry, but it's very easy to get me frustrated. And it's frustrating having conversations that I feel are unproductive with individuals that are prominent in the space on these particular topics when I think that they are purposely um, trying to imply that people who have been in markets and actually been correct about where price is going don't know what they're talking about. Um, and evidence of that is something that I said to look out for yesterday was the potential for a lower high in the daily, because Bitcoin in particular is in higher low structure as it stands right now. And the first sign of this higher low structure cracking on the daily would be a lower high. And that is a very high potential as of today. Um, when looking at the current dailies on Bitcoin, one of the reasons why we're seeing some of that occur is, we're seeing some pressure down in markets, um, traditional markets kind of going back and testing around the low side structures as oil moves to test $95 again, which is something that I discussed with you a little bit yesterday. Didn't show any charts on it, but oil above $95, very likely it will put in another higher low, and very likely we will see a test of that 98 to 102 region, which is around the most recent high side structure um, for oil. And if we see oil doing that, what we're going to see is Dixie start to move back into a very important resistance zone overhead, which pushes markets to the downside. So oil strengthening, Dixie strengthening, markets tumbling. And this is where, a lot of folks are actually starting to pick up on this correlation. It's something that, in crypto, we've kind of, as myself as analysts, we've been talking about this stuff for years, is the correlation between oil prices, the strength of the dollar, and markets headed to the downside. And that's actually what we're seeing right now. But major areas of interest that traditional markets are sitting on right now, on some major weeklies, and it's all about, do they hold up? And if they do, I think that Bitcoin would look good as long as it's trading and closing above around $68,000. If it starts to drop that area, very highly likely that we're going to see this trend back down to break this uptrending structure that it's in, and head down towards the 65 to 62 and a half area, which is the current consolidation range lows. Any lower than that, we're down for a retest of 58 to 60 and potentially more. And you and I discussed this. I'm in the, last week, and week prior, you brought up the, a lot of people looking at the extremes on Bitcoin's chart to the downside and saying, well, could this potentially be the macro low area? And I'm in the camp of, we need another good leg down. I still maintain that, and we could be starting to look at that potentially coming to fruition, but really only if we break below 58 to 60 on closes and start going for those mid to low 50s.
The bear market 2008, negative 84%. 2022, negative 77%. Currently, it's negative 45%, which is just, it's still above historical levels.
You looking at
67
Bitcoin purely?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bitcoin is
Levels
down
to watch.
50%.
I have 45. I don't know. I
It's
just went ahead and opened up my stuff.
$126,296 was the high. The low was $60,000, and it's
I'm
actually
talking about
it's at,
current levels.
well, current levels. It's the low came in at 52%, 52.5%. For the
Bitcoin's at
current low,
65. Is this at 65 right now?
it's currently at
Hold on,
68,
69.
which is 45%. So yes, right now it is 45%
That's
down,
what
but
I'm
I'm
saying.
talking low to low for the current move, because you have to look at it as a trend, right? Because it's a higher
I
term
get
time
that.
frame trend.
I'm just saying, like at this point in time where that's all I'm trying to address. At this
Yeah,
point in time, we're down 45% from 126.
yeah.
Critical support is what, 67.5.
For the local
Which
area,
closes below that goes to anywhere from 58 to 54. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. 58 to 60 is the next area, and then mid 50s is, it's 54 to 56 is the next major area below 58. Yes, I would agree with that. So you are correct in what you are looking at.
I'm just reading like I've had this stuff up here, so like I'm not. I still remain super bullish, and people might. I'm to me this is still. You know what? I hate saying like to me it's still like a bull market
It's not.
because it is, and from my perspective, it is. I understand where if you want to get technical with numbers and shit like that, that's fine. And charts and shit. To me, like I'm bullish because I have an opportunity to gain more. I
Yeah.
didn't think we were going here. No, I'm serious. I didn't think that we were going to go into these levels.
I know.
Everything says that we should have. I'm just saying I didn't think we would. I didn't think we would. RSI what hit 25.6 earlier in March?
For which for the weekly? You're probably looking at the weekly, yeah. The weekly was around the 26 region. And it
Price
typically,
structure, like you say, is bearish.
yes.
RSI is flashing a classic bottom signal for us, right?
Not yet. The set this is the low. That 26 read on RSI is where you would want to see you'd want to see bullish divergence come from, meaning that the next low on RSI you would like to see higher while price might go lower relative to create bullish divergence. And that's what takes time. And that's where, even looking back to last cycle, if you want to use last cycle as a model, at the low, the low of 17,500 or so, RSI got to that, right around the 20, what was it? It's like the 24 level, but then it closed at around the 26 level, which is very
Would you agree with
similar
this?
to where we are.
That we're coming out of a bear market? Would you agree with that?
No, not yet.
You don't think we're at the last part of the bear market here?
We
'Cause that's
we're
what I believe.
we'd be looking for the last leg down, if that's what you're saying,
Yeah.
from here. Yes,
This is
that
the
would be the
last
final leg down.
That's
Yes.
it. This is the last portion of the bear market.
Meaning that we're in the latter stages, meaning that,
Yeah.
yes,
I'm just
I
trying
don't think this is the
I'm
low,
keeping it in
though.
layman's terms for the people.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people get into RSI, MACD, all this shit. Like nobody
Yeah.
understands that. They want to know when is this ending.
I would argue end of Q3, early Q4, is the base case time frame, because it takes time to put in that final low. So, for instance, this would be the last stages, otherwise known as, like, to compare it to last cycle, it would be like hitting that 17.5, getting that really nice bounce that we got, and then going down and then making that lower low at 15.5, which is $2,000 lower, right? So that was the final low, and the 17.5 low was the precursor to that. I think we are in the precursor stage, or the stage just prior to the final low coming in. It's just a matter of where you believe the final low is more likely to come in. Some believe it's extremely far down, which I'm not sold on that. Um, I do think that we do get a final low, and it's a matter of how low. I realistically would be looking at, another leg down could take us to mid to upper 40s to 50K. And I don't really have too much evidence right now in terms of price structure to be looking at some of the extreme targets. Like, when I say extreme targets, there's many analysts and pundits. I would lean more towards the analysts being the ones that are actually looking at the data the correct way, but they're looking at the extreme areas of mid 20s to low 20s, or, around the $28,000 level. I'm not necessarily looking that low. I look at the extremes. I could see 38 to 42 on extremes, but more realistic, I'd be looking, mid to low 50s as a final low region. That would produce the structure, just like, you described kind of the latter stages of the bear market, and getting ready to start putting in that final low structure that leads to the most opportunity right before things turn around and get bullish again.
Welcome to the breakdown, episode 690, sponsored by Midnight. All right, what's positive? We went
What's
through all the negative stuff.
I mean,
What's
that's
positive right now?
I think that is positive.
You think that's what's the negative news?
The negative news is that oil looks like it's going to make a higher low
Okay.
and likely target above that 95. Now, specifically above 95, I would be looking for that, for oil to head to some regions higher here. Let me just make sure I've got my numbers correct here. So above 95, I'd be looking 98 to 102. That's what I'd be watching for if you start to see oil closing above there. Above the 102, it's kind of 102 to 105. If you see 105 break, I do think that we get a run to try and fill the big sell off that originally happened from 120 for WTI crude. By the way, for those that are wondering what I'm looking at, I'm looking at WTI crude in this case. The Brent is already trading higher. If you're looking at Arab oil, it's already trading much higher as well. So, but for WTI specifically above 95, I would look for 98 to 102 and a half or so, and then above there up to 105. We start to see 105 breaking on closes, especially on a close, not just a swing above and then it closes below. If it closes above that 105 region, I think that we get a concerted move back towards the highs. Could be anywhere between that 110 to 120 region because things could pick up volatility very, very quickly. And then you have to watch carefully because if we start to break above 120, the primary zone of interest from the highs of oil in 22 and the macro high that was put in was at $130 a barrel. So back in 2022 when we had the bear market. The reason why this would be the bad news for markets in general, but I think it's an opportunity and good news to start going around and looking at what you'd like to shop for on discount, would be that markets, with oil strengthening, specifically watching WTI, the dollar will strengthen, which is going to lead to lower prices in markets. That's just the way things work out. Are we already at some pretty key levels? Yes. And thus far, oil has tested 95. It has not closed above. And a local move to like 98 to 102 doesn't do too much, but I think that puts markets back in the low side structure that they're already in towards the bottom of it. And what does this mean for stuff like Bitcoin? If this does if oil plays out to the upside and Dixie starts to pick up steam again, back to the upside in some of these key areas and especially break it, I think that with markets continuing to test lower, I think that Bitcoin will test the bottom side of its range more towards the 65 to 62 and a half and potentially go for an expansion back to the low 58 to 60 or so, at least initially. And then we kind of watch it from there. The good news is out of all of this is that this is when you want to be in markets. This is when you want to be paying attention because this is when you identify where you're going to get in and benefit on the other side with massive amounts of gains. And then people get in your DMs and on your timeline and say that you were just lucky, but you weren't. You were paying attention. Same goes for things like Ethereum and your other cryptocurrencies, right? If Bitcoin takes it back to the lows, expect the same for the majors, to the low side structures. And if it starts to break below, we're looking for the actual lows. In this case, that 58 to 60 for Bitcoin. If looking at cryptocurrencies like, let's say Ethereum, that's where we'd be looking back to the low that it put in around that 1750 and potentially running lower if Bitcoin does the same. This is going to take a little while. And I think that if you haven't been paying attention until now and you're just listening to this now going, crap, it could go lower. Yes. Well, make a plan to accumulate, right? make a plan to ladder in. And that's going to help you, really benefit when things do turn around, because things will turn around. That's a fact. Price goes down and it will go back up. It's just a matter of positioning yourself accordingly. And I do think that you have time, um, but don't waste that time. Uh, Identify those levels, start making a plan for accumulation if you haven't already had one. That is the good in this. And I think these are the best times to be in markets. So I'm actually happy that we're getting pullbacks like this. I know that you are as well. I know that many people, just from a psychological point of view, wanted to see higher prices, but in reality, then you're losing out on the opportunity to get more and potentially benefit more, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, and I want to see more people get spot before institutions repackage it and sell it back to you with fees. You want to be able to get in and get spot for cryptocurrencies. You want to
Yeah.
get into some of these really good companies that I think have growth potential in the stock market for many years to come. So, that's when everything around us, around the world, not just here in the United States, is getting more expensive no matter what, because just because inflation comes down doesn't mean inflation is deflation, right? It means that we're just inflating at a lower rate than we were when we were at 9% under Biden, right? And it was technically higher than that, but the 9% was the locked in figure. Inflation didn't go away. It just came down to lower levels. And then people get into arguments about how high inflation actually is and what they're measuring and all that for right now. But realistically, we're just inflating at a slower rate than we were in 22. But that could very easily change. And when you see inflation everywhere globally, it's not just a United States dollar problem and United States economy problem. Inflation is systemic, whether you're looking at BRICS nations or Western nations, right? And with so little opportunity for many out there, especially younger, to get in and own their first home, they've got to work a lot harder. It's really an uphill battle. Learning to learning to stick around and identify when markets present opportunity is going to be the best way, in my opinion, for many folks to actually dig their way out and achieve those long-term goals.
Ladies and gentlemen, well, I don't think this is a sad. I really, you're angry today.
I'm
You're
I'm just
angry little puppet
frustrated
today.
with
Why,
specific people.
listen, there's nothing to be. Look. Let me say something. Let me say something to you live on air, Landy.
Yes,
There's
sir.
nothing to be frustrated about. People are. There are people though. I've watched this industry for a very long time, as it has you. You've done the same. People are gonna go out there and put anything out there, okay? And they're gonna see if it sticks. That's it. Some people are delusional enough to think that right now we might be in a bull market, and we've never entertained the bear. So like that's what it is. You can only do as best as you can. You've done a phenomenal job calling stuff. So like that's where you need to focus. Yeah, it's frustrating to see people go out there on spaces or whatever platform they're using, and they're putting out this thing where yeah, we're still in a bull. We're about to rip, towards the upside. Yeah, it could be frustrating. I get you, but it's the same frustration. Look, they're also. I think a lot of these people are going off of what the big dogs are saying as well. So I kind of like I hate what the institutional players are doing at the same time, because they're validating whatever they're saying. They are. I've watched everything that all the big dogs have been saying, and what I mean by big dogs, I'm not talking about the people in crypto Twitter. I'm talking about the people that are right now sitting in their chairs in their offices in Wall Street, and every single time they show up on CNBC or Fox, whatever, and they say that the shit's going to $1 million, $1 million. That's it. We bottomed out. How many? I've heard it multiple times already that we bottomed out. I've heard multiple times already that we have bottomed out. This is the bottom.
Yeah. The
Okay.
the bottom was at 100,000, and then 95, and then 90, and then 85, and then 80, and then and now it's 60, right? So, look, they've got products
You
to
understand
sell.
what I'm saying, right?
Yes, but they have products to sell, right? They have business interests for continuing to pitch those products. And look, they're not
But that's what
in the
that's what
long
crypto
run.
Twitter has though, Landy. Like they
Yes,
have products to sell as well, right?
yes, yes. And but it's the framing that that frustrates me because there's reality and then there's false reality or manufactured reality, right? Like you and I are talking about the reality that yes, things could potentially go lower. I'm looking for a final leg down. It's just a matter of where does it land, and then framing that in the category of being opportunity, right? But to um, to Tom Lee it, so to speak, and just continuously, um, sorry, Tom, you should have shaved your head. Price would have been way higher, but
Well, think here's an example. Okay, here's an example. We got 5 more minutes. Here's an example of everything that's happened. You've had Tom Lee that's come out and said that we've hit bottom multiple times.
yeah,
Like
and
he
been
has
wrong
come
every
out,
time.
like he's buying Ethereum. I congratulate him for his conviction, regardless if you like the approach or not. I congratulate him. He's sticking to. He really does believe Ethereum is going to blast off. A lot of people believe it, though. It's not just him. A lot of people believe it. Could he have bought Ethereum lower? Could have also, but he's taking the Sailor approach, right? A lot of people get on Sailor and say like, "Well, Sailor's buying at 74 when he could have bought at 68." I mean, uh, when you have big money at play, I'm not saying you shouldn't try to, catch the bottom, but like these people aren't trying to catch bottoms. They're trying to accumulate as much as possible. Again, but when you have Sailor so much that I'll say this about Sailor, and I got to obviously sit here and interview Sailor, and we'll probably have it again here where Sailor does come onto the show. But Sailor isn't here saying like it's gonna hit $1 million in the next week. He that's not his approach. He's like, it's going to $1 million. And he's giving you the time frame that he sees that it goes to $1 million in terms of Bitcoin.
Yep.
He stated it 4 to 8 years. That's it. That's his thesis.
And that's the difference between him and Tom Lee. Tom Lee was explaining that no. In this particular run, when he was buying Ethereum at $4,000, he had an entire cult-like following, calling for $10, $15, $20,000 Ethereum at the actual highs all the way to 5K, right? And this is the difference between the two. Is Sailor is taking the slow, methodical approach, and Tom was just selling a product and shilling that it was going to go higher literally at the high. And Sailor doesn't do that. Sailor hasn't done that. So there's a very big difference between those two types of people in this market from the institutional side. What I'm bullish
But
on is
Landy,
crypto adoption overall.
but he's not the only one though. So you have here's the problem that we have in crypto. Because crypto has, and I hate to say this because I just learned about this. I hate to say that crypto has the attention span of a goldfish, because now studies have come out and have stated that goldfish don't have a memory of 3 seconds. Like it's longer than that. So now I'm gonna have to find a different terminology to go ahead and use when it comes to that. But the attention span is bad here. So like for instance, when people come out, these people, by the way, there are people with brands that come out here constantly talking about they just got off the phone. I'm not going to name the name, but I just got off the phone with somebody and I was just alerted. Major players going in, we're about to send higher. That was months ago. And it seems like it's a weekly thing when said person comes out and says it. I'm not going to say the name. I could, I don't want to. I think you know who it might be.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this person's consistently saying that we're going back up and we don't. The one thing that I look at, social media is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful indicator of where the market is going. Until I see absolute depression in this market, in which we're almost there, people are giving up. People are giving up 100%. I know that. I've seen it. People are giving up. People are switching careers. They're going to AI, and now AI fucked them up, right? Because now nobody's buying Mac Minis anymore. So now they don't know which industry to go ahead and attack. But people are
They're
switching up. They're
they're back.
becoming political fucking influencers and shit. I can, when we are about to hit bottom or we're hitting bottom, where people are just absolutely across the board saying "fuck this shit."
Yeah,
We're
and we're
not at
not
that
quite
point yet.
there yet. Yeah, no, we're not there yet.
Right now, all I'm seeing is, oh my god, it's about to bounce. Watch the bounce, it is gonna be crazy next week. And it's always the next. Oh, I think it's because of the war no,
Yeah.
no, it's not because of the war.
Yeah, the war didn't make Bitcoin hit 60K, in fact, which is quite interesting because many were speculating, those same that are looking for the bounce and then saying that the bounce isn't occurring to the magnitude that it should is because of the war, are the same people that were surprised that Bitcoin held the lows during it and actually went up, right? They were caught off guard on both sides now. And realistically, is because Bitcoin doesn't really care. Bitcoin's subject to right now the broader market's movements. Um, and then in aggregate, for some of the larger moves to the downside, um, it's subject to the holders that need to distribute, right? Like, it's funny. I bring this up quite often because I thought it was one of the key things that Saylor said. It's the OGs. The OGs hold the majority of Bitcoin supply. The OGs hold the majority of Ethereum supply and of every major cryptocurrency, right? And that distribution takes time, which is why when you had that conversation with Saylor, I thought that was one of the best parts of that particular discussion because he gets it. He fully understands, and you fully understand that it takes time for these things to distribute. And all he's trying to do is capture as much of the supply as he possibly can at these prices. Because as Bitcoin, and in this case, Bitcoin, gets more distributed, you're going to get a whole set of new holders, a lot of them being institutions in this case for the larger, portions of dollar amounts, and that's going to drive those prices much higher. I do not disagree with him in any way. I think that he laid it out perfectly, and I think that that proves that he understands Bitcoin, much to the chagrin of many Bitcoiners that are anti-Saylor, which seems to be, which was quite the trend for a while. It has died down now, um, but it's yeah, it takes time for these things, right? And I think that being bullish longer term, like yourself, and saying, like, look, this is still, even after all these years, this is still early. We are very, very, very early to this game for these assets. And I really do believe that as well. Even though I'm an old, tired puppet at this point in the cryptocurrency landscape, it's been a long time, but also this is just the very beginning of wider global adoption. And it's going to continue moving forward. So, yeah, I mean, can you throw darts at the board and just wait? Yes. But having a strategy, I think, is important, and informing
I
people
think
about that is important.
here's the strategy that I think people should have. Again, it's not financial advice, but here's my take on this. At the end of the day, you should be buying and not trying to catch the bottoms and tops. That's it. Like, if you really do believe in, let's take Bitcoin. If you really believe in Bitcoin, you're just buying. Like, if you have money, you're buying. Waiting to catch the bottom is a crazy game. I
Yeah.
mean, could you put in, buy orders at certain? Yeah, you could do all that stuff. I'm just saying in general. I think you should just do the sailor approach. Just buy. 'Cause if it's listen, if this shit is going to $1 million, that's what's priced in, right? $1 million, $1 million
Someday.
Bitcoin someday. Okay, then if you buy at these levels and it hits $1 million, you've done well for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Wait, are you going to start counting pennies? Like, come on, come on. I'm Jewish, and I'm telling you, like, listen, buy. Don't count pennies.
Yeah. And look,
It'll be
I
less stressful. It's less stressful. You can live life. Buy, go outside, go touch some grass and some ass and shit. Like that. That's it, bro.
yep,
Actually, don't touch ass if meaning like touch
yeah.
grass because you nerds don't understand the meaning of that. They
Well,
go I'm not encouraging anybody to run up to anybody and touch their ass. I'm talking about like consensual type of thing.
consensual ass touching.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the
There you go. It's
yes,
trending now.
yep,
Consensual ass touching.
yep.
By the way,
It's the new movement.
it's been reported that men live longer by touching some ass cheeks. It's been reported. Studies have shown that men live or tend to live longer and they're happier when they touch some ass cheeks.
And look, just like most men are gonna miss out on grabbing a bottom, especially these days, you're probably not gonna catch the bottom of the market. So I agree, that you should look, it's very simple. And in fact, the simplest way to look at markets is, oh, is it a downtrend? On that downtrend, I'm gonna buy the major areas that come in as support on longer term timeframes, right? You buy those areas and then you plan to buy lower, right? And then if the ones that are lower don't get hit, you start seeing the trend shift into higher lows. You buy, the first or second higher low that you see and watch it play out to the upside in that longer term. When markets are down and there's blood in the streets, that's when you want to be shopping and buying. All right. That is the way that it is. That's how you don't buy high to sell higher. That is typically a losing game. You buy low to sell high. That is the winning game in terms of statistical probability. And that's where many are might be even learning this lesson for the first time in these markets for a lot of newer participants. For those that have been here for any length of time, even the ones that are being hyperbolic on social media about what type of market we're in and where things could potentially go. Reality is, even they know that. And excuse me. So I would say I agree with you. Most are going to miss the actual bottom. So you get in and you position yourself for the longer term, especially if you're an investor at value prices and downtrend from 126 to 60 and hanging around these areas and lower is opportunity. And I think will present longer term opportunity. It's just what is your time horizon?
Yeah. Well, I thank you, Landy, for coming on to the show every day at 12:15 p.m. You're here at 12:15 p.m. Depending on the start time, you are here though at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ready to go ahead and give your takes. Yesterday, Landy did break down the markets. If you didn't tune in, then you missed something. All right, you missed something good, something that could have brought value to your life. It's up there though. You can go to X, formerly known as Twitter, and tune into it. It's on Landy's page and it's on the Gokhshtein official page. Got the badge and everything on it. You can go to @CryptoLandy to go ahead and view it, or @Gokhshtein, either or. Go to @CryptoLandy, go check it out, give it a like, give it a retweet, give it a comment. Okay, leave your comments there. And not just say, yo, this shit is dope. Just go and actually write something out, ask a question and see. I know Landy will reply to it, but just go ahead and give your own thoughts. Also, you can find Landy on TikTok doing the Renegade versus Charlie D'Amelio. Again, on TikTok, it's at Landy.btc, at Landy.btc. Landy, it is always a pleasure to have you on. Don't be angry. Smile. You're alive.
I got this smile permanently plastered to my face. So I do appreciate you having me on, David. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, I'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Well, yeah, hopefully we can catch up and talk.
Yeah, we probably should actually. It's been a
Mr.
little while.
Busy man. You know who dominates the conversation. Anyway,
Yes, the audience
you
definitely
know,
does.
what? When people talk a lot, like it's sometimes like I'm the type of person. I think somebody compared me recently to what's his name? Uh, Killian Murphy.
I'm not familiar.
Killian Murphy, who starred in Peaky Blinders.
Oh, okay, okay.
They're like, David, this is your reaction. Like you have the same type of reaction when like. uh, Go watch it. You'll understand. Go look up the Killian Murphy meme, and they're like, "Yo, you have absolutely the same reactions." Uh, but there's sometimes you can sit back, and when people are talking, you like to. I wish you talked more, Landy, than you currently do. But and now I'm being facetious with that remark. But you can sit back and you're learning something, and it's a good thing if you can find people that actually are dropping alpha, even though they're dropping it for fucking 45 minutes. It's still worth the time because you get something out of it. I do seriously. When I talk to Landy, I get something out of it. Like they're like we don't. I don't think we agree on everything, but most of the things we agree on. But there are some
Yeah,
things that like he'll say and like, but then like I'll research it and I'll be like, okay, I can see where he's coming from. I think that's what a smart person does. Like you don't have to agree with somebody instantly, but then you write down or you memorize. Me and my thing, I write down or I memorize it. I memorize it, write it down, whatever, and then I'll look it over and I'll say, okay, like Landy had a point, or he didn't have
sometimes.
like, or it still doesn't make sense to me. It's one of those things that'll go through my head. Anyway, find a
Hey,
friend like Landy. That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
I don't necessarily have to agree with somebody to be friends with them, and people who use that as a metric of you must agree with me for me to be friends with you, I think are fairly shallow people. And although we do agree on a lot, there's some differences that we've had in terms of
Memes,
takes over time. Yeah,
memes.
just a few.
But Landy, look, I'll say this again. There's nothing wrong with memes. There isn't. Because the confusion that comes here's the confusion.
I'm looking at a meme right now, and it's Killian Murphy covering his mouth and looking off to the side at somebody
Right?
like, what is
That's
going
me.
on here?
That's me. Like so nobody believes me, but I am an introvert. Like I really am. Like they're like, how can you be an introvert? Like when you come on here, like no, I am an introvert. Like this is my job. I love coming onto a microphone. I love looking in the camera. I love having conversation with you or whoever else comes on. After this, like I don't know. I think they came out with a new. Actually, they came out with like a new label. It's kind of like an in between kind of thing between it being an introvert and I'm like, I am that though. Like unless I know you, like I don't want to speak. And
Yep.
people take it the wrong way. Like they really do. Like I don't want to speak unless I have to. And then I have the same face as Killian Murphy. Like I'll sit there and like and people think I'm arrogant. And I'm not. I just like I'm not interested. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather be doing something else, kind of thing. Like respectfully. I think
I
you know what it is? People take themselves way too seriously, Landy.
yes.
I'm breaking it down right now. This is not even about crypto. Let me explain something to you guys. I could really take myself real seriously. I don't. Like I'm watching people on crypto like they think they're fucking walking the red carpet. No, I'm like, have you seen it? Like it feels like like you're being invited to the Oscars or some shit. Nobody knows you. Like
Yep.
that's serious. That's serious. Like maybe 10 people who have been raised in crypto that developed a platform in crypto, they probably know. Outside of like Web3, whatever you want to fucking call this shit. But like acting like people know you, like I say this all the time. The only reason the gas attendant knows you is because you gave him the credit card. That's the only reason why he knew your name. You acted like the person knows you. No. I don't know, Landy. This space is retarded. How about that? I said it. I said it. Okay, I said it.
It definitely attracts a very specific, very loud demographic, but the majority of people in the space are observing and watching. And the I think the more interesting part that a lot of people don't even realize, especially on crypto X or Twitter, is that there's a lot of big money behind very small accounts that just kind of sits back and watches and listens. And that's it. That's all they do.
Landy, hold on. Fran, listen to me real quick. The R word, I'm from New York City. We're not talking about disabled people. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. The R word it means absolutely something completely different. And it's not absolutely taking shots at anybody with any disabilities. Some of these people really are the R word. Have you seen these people talk in spaces? I don't go to spaces no more. I'm retired. Somebody asked me, Dave, can you come up and open up a space? Fuck no. Absolutely not. What, so I get a bunch of fucking brain dead individuals that pop in that motherfucker? These people are delusional, man. And you know what? I love these. I have so much to say. I have so much to say.
It's the concerted effort to distort reality and facts and purposefully fight and misunderstand others. That is kind of the undercurrent of online interaction in general.
No, Landy, you know what it is? People are trying, it's funny on social media. Now, like, I'm more like, my Band-Aid's been ripped off. Like, I say what the fuck I want now, really. And that's crazy because I've always said whatever I fucking felt. But like, I'm watching people, they form allegiances. They think this is like Game of Thrones. Like, seriously, this is some Game of Thrones shit. Where people are like, they're forming cliques. They're trying to fucking badmouth people within the industry. They talk behind the scenes, acting like screenshots aren't being sent off. Like, it's so like, bro, like, there's only like 11 of you here. What are you doing? They're serious. Like, there's only like, really, like, if it wasn't for my political takes, I'd have 9 people watching me. People have given up. And they're not even on X anymore. That's the problem. X has absolutely destroyed crypto. Like, I don't know if Elon did it intentionally, but whoever's running the product is trying to eliminate crypto conversations. And that shit has happened because you did it to yourselves. If you think about it,
I agree with that. 100%.
Think about it. Everybody wants to blame Elon. Everybody wants to blame this guy Nikolai. Is Nikolai? Is that his name? The head of product.
Nikita.
They want to blame Nikita for shit. You can't blame these people. You guys ruined crypto on X. You ruined crypto Twitter. You absolutely ruined it. All these every single time you would tweet, there's 94,000 bots that attack the tweet. And when people want to read the tweet, they can't because they're getting hit with all types of shit. It's worse than ads. I'd rather watch the ads than watch the shit that you put on the tweets. We ruined it for us. I'm going to take us out of the equation. You ruined it for yourselves. That's why people have left. They've gone to TikTok. They've gone elsewhere. Crypto Twitter is not coming back. I'm telling you this right now, Landy. I keep on telling people, people talk about, yo, this one doesn't have motion. That one doesn't have motion. That's because crypto Twitter itself has left and retail has never come back.
This is true. One of the things that I wanted to hit on real quick here is I was shocked to see how strong the crypto community is on TikTok, especially because for a very long time, you could not even mention Bitcoin on TikTok without getting your account banned. I I built a sizable account on TikTok at one point, um, talking about Bitcoin, and it got nixed. And then tried to rebuild again, got banned. And this was quite often, and it seems as though, I don't know, it still could be touchy over there on specific things, but it seems as though the community has endured, and I see a lot of names from, prominent names now from Twitter that are on TikTok, and it's like the temperature is actually turned down a bit. I know it gets a little feisty in the comments every once in a while and in the live chats and stuff, but in general, it seems to be healthier in terms of the conversations that are being had. And I'm not quite sure why. And maybe because because it is a video platform focus.
TikTok is soft, and I say that respectfully. TikTok is soft.
Well, definitely when it comes to politics. You either have one
100%
political view
soft.
or not.
It's soft. 100% soft. But
Well,
not in a bad way. It's not soft in a bad way. It's just that people, I think on TikTok, honestly, I don't know if I'm giving TikTok too much credit, but I think people on TikTok, I think their IQs are a little bit higher. I think they're just a little bit more mature. You might disagree with that, but I think from what I've been able to go ahead and watch, I think that's it.
well, I mean, that is a bold statement for the brain rot platform, but there's also pockets of like genuine, and I feel like I feel like TikTok's crypto community is maybe healthier. Maybe that's just because I don't know enough, and haven't been involved enough or poked around enough. Um, it just seems less toxic than the community started to get on Twitter or X. Specifically, things got really toxic. They've always been toxic, right? Social media is toxic in general, but they got like crypto specifically got really toxic on Twitter and X to like a degree that I hadn't seen, even during, block wars, which were really toxic. But it just it got to the point where people are making genuine threats against others, and in some cases, it was getting to extremes. And while that's true of any social media, it seemed to be running kind of rampant with the kind of toxic BS on Twitter. I don't see that same kind of like I'm not seeing that same kind of toxicity on TikTok. I've had more good conversations with people on TikTok than I have when I go to my DMs outside of obviously discussing things with friends in my DMs on X or Twitter, but I just get people that randomly DM me, threats, like because of takes that I've had about price action. And I don't, I haven't experienced that on TikTok, and I don't see that on TikTok. And maybe it's because of the way they moderate the platform. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe it's the community, right? Because the crypto community on TikTok has had to grow and reform over and over and over and over again. Um, and I think that maybe video, and I've contested this with you. You and I think believe see eye to eye. I think that video format is a much better format for discussing these issues, right? Discussing, in particular, cryptocurrencies, where things are going in terms of legislation. And obviously, I think that it's because you're not, well, here I am sitting behind a PFP, but in general, it's usually it's people with their faces on the screen, or at least having that video and it being recorded seems to take on a different life than spaces or posts, which can get, I don't know, really silly at times. Now, can't. I know that chat gets a little spicy sometimes, but that's pretty typical in lives anyway. Um, I don't know. I think that when crypto comes back, I think that TikTok's probably going to be in the driver's seat for narrative, while many still cling to the idea that X or Twitter is going to be where all of the action is. And I think that a lot of it is going to be identified and the especially on the meme side, because we started to see this towards the end of the meme coin run, is that I think TikTok's going to be in the driver's seat because a lot of those narratives are going to be born out of the memes that are popular on TikTok and the communities that coalesce around them, instead of getting that start on Twitter, which kind of is we saw that transition kind of already happen, I would argue, which is kind of why a lot of people when they left crypto X or Twitter went to TikTok. And I think that we'll start seeing that come back, and really start revving up, especially when memes start to run. When we do find that actual macro low for something like Bitcoin, as I've mentioned, I think memes will be the first movers in a big way, um, and then and then we'll see alts get their bigger moves later, just like what we saw this past cycle. I think that will continue as its own cycle.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Landy. You can go ahead and tune in to Landy on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can also tune in on this show at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we break down the markets, and not just the markets. We can we'll sometimes go into the political atmosphere. But I agree with you. TikTok, I think TikTok will overtake crypto Twitter, but those are my thoughts. I think it'll happen. Everything's going visual anyway. Nobody wants to read. Everybody wants to see and listen. And you'll have 7 seconds to sell yourself. So, yeah, respect to you, Landy. And don't be mad. Be happy.
Well, thank you for having me, David. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.
That is Landy. Crypto Landy. Crypto Landy. He's not angry. Actually, he is angry. Came off a little bit angry today. I was kind of scared. I thought he was going to go ahead and throw hands with me at some point. But no. I get it. Landy, like, look, Landy takes this seriously, man. That's the thing. Like, a lot of us take this real serious. And Landy said, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. By the way, a lot of you guys who are tuning into Twitter, if you want to join in on the conversation, please go to TikTok. That's right. TikTok is whipping that ass. So if you want to go ahead and participate in the conversation with the entire tribe, you go to TikTok, you go ahead and have that conversation. We got a lot of people that used to be on Twitter that are on TikTok that tune into the show every single day. Shout out to Getter. Shout out to Kick. I'm a part of the Kick program, partner program. We're figuring out how to put this all together. April we'll have a concept of what we'll be doing. April will be a wonderful month where we'll have more guests on to go ahead and talk about more things about crypto and also political shit. Because we'll have representatives that will be coming on here. Because I want to talk politics as well. I just don't want to talk about crypto. I want to talk about politics. We know where crypto stands already. We know. Landy's told you. I've told you already. I told you, man. Like, the best decision you can make right now is just DCA, man. That's it. If you're not a trader, which most of you guys aren't, just DCA, okay? And maybe buy positions in at certain levels that you think that Bitcoin might go to. Okay, so when you're sleeping and Bitcoin might drop to, let's say, I don't know, 61, have a buy in place. That's it. It's real simple. Y'all make this difficult when it's not that difficult. You make it really difficult when it's not that difficult. And nobody can complain because you have free information that is being put out here to you every single day. Landy comes on here every single day. Landy comes on 3 times a week to break down things for a half an hour. That's free info. He's not charging you. I'm on here every single day. I bring on people on here that are smarter than me to break it down for you every single week. There's no excuse. And I'm not selling you an ebook. I'm not selling you an ebook. Your favorite influencer is selling you an ebook. I'm not. I don't need to sell you an ebook. I always said my sponsors, my partners will take care of the shows. That doesn't mean one day I won't come out with an ebook, but at least my ebook will be impressive. Welcome to the breakdown. We'll be back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to episode 690. I want to know, I asked this question just now. If you're not buying Bitcoin, what are you buying? I'd really like to know. Like, if you're not buying Bitcoin, what are you buying? I want to know. I want you guys to tell me what you guys are getting yourselves into. Okay, here you go. Here's your opportunity to come into, well, Twitter, here's your opportunity to come into the goddamn chat and talk about the shit that you're buying. TikTok, you're already here, so you can go ahead and talk about what you're getting into. I'm fascinated to see what you guys are really, really jumping into. Landy just told you, by the way, Landy just told you that he believes wholeheartedly that we're in a bear market. I'm probably not going to disagree with Landy when he says that we're in a bear market. I won't disagree with him. Because the numbers are there. Like data, the numbers don't lie. People do, right? To me, when I say, like, to me, it's bullish right now. It is, because now you can grab up all these things at discount the prices because they're going to go up. Like, I am 100% certain everything's going to go absolutely apeshit. So what are you doing? Are you looking into potential discounts that are out there right now and grabbing them up? Or are you sitting back and doing nothing? And are you waiting for the green signal? See, that's the problem in crypto. A lot of people just wait for the green signal, and that is the green candles to go off. And that's when you're like, oh, I feel confident, right? Because it's psychological. Psychologically, when you see a green light, that means go. So green means go. Green means, okay, buy. When you see a red light, what do? You stop, right? Most people, when they see a red light, they stop. Most people, when they see a stop sign, they stop. It's psychological. So when you see red candles, you see the market's red, you stop. You're like, oh, I'm not buying here. And that's the truth. Like, oh, holy shit, it's red. I'm not going into it. I'll go into it when it goes green. That's not how you make money. That's not how you make money. More people destroy themselves by going into green candles. It's the truth. And these are the same people that will complain. They will come on to all these social media platforms and they will complain, oh my God, it's the influencer's fault. What happened, sir? Well, the influencers, they told me that this is going parabolic and I went and bought the top. It's their fault. I love the fact that some will actually, here's some cases that happen. People will buy into whatever it is, XYZ. They'll buy into it. They're in profit. They've never seen this kind of money in their life and they round trip it. And they blame everybody for round tripping and not taking profits. That is what you have in crypto, where only less than 5% win because they know how to take profits. They buy in the red, they take profits, they scale out respectfully. And then you got the 95% that round trip, blame everybody and their mother, or they're chasing green candles because they're waiting for confirmation. And their confirmation is, oh, holy shit, look at that $5,000, $6,000 candle on Bitcoin. Now I'm going in. That's what crypto is. It hasn't changed. No AI protocol, nothing is going to save these people. Because at the end of the day, even if you get in the red, you still got to pull out in the green, and your pull-out game is terrible. Y'all got 11 kids. Your pull-out game is terrible. That's it. But that's the truth. There's absolutely no lies found there, man. None. None. Absolutely none. I've heard stories of people being up millions of dollars. They've never seen this kind of money in their lives before. And what happens? They round trip it. You imagine you are somebody who has never made $50,000 in a year. Never made $50,000 in a year, and here you are, not taking a single cent out. Not a single cent. Not a single cent out. Because you're greedy. Because you're up $2 million from investing $5,000. You can't take out 500 grand and let the rest ride? What's wrong with you? And that's a bigger problem that we have in this space. The bigger problem is we have people that sell shame people. So if somebody does take profit, they're sell shamed. There's a whole space opened up. There's a video done. Oh my God, this person took profit. That's how bad it is. It's really bad. It is really fucking bad. I gotta tell you, man. The sell shaming is horrible. Horrible, terrible. That fucks up a lot of people as well. That really damages a lot of people. A lot of people get damaged. A lot. All right. Let me go ahead and look at some things here. Let me look at some things here. I want to see some news here. I think I saw something. Let's talk about this, I guess. I want to point out to this here. Let me go ahead and bring this in here. Let's share the screen here. Shout out to everybody tuning in again. It's The Breakdown, episode 690. Here we are. I was look again. I like watching. Yeah, Polymarket is the sponsor of the show, but at the end of the day, I like seeing what the people are saying, right? So here we go. We're here right now. I clicked the button here though. We're here right now. Hold on. Where's the goddamn picture? Hold on. Did I click out of this whole thing? Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Let me just zoom in. Trump threatens very drastic measures if the DHS shutdown doesn't end immediately. 69% chance that the shutdown extends into next month. I don't understand this. I don't get this at all. I really don't. How do we still have, how are we not funding? How are we not funding the DHS? This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I got to tell you. Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy, man. Welcome to the breakdown. We'll be back right after this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together. What first got you excited about?
Welcome back to the breakdown. Yeah, I think it's crazy that the DHS is still not funded. That is crazy not to have the DHS not funded, man. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Crazy. That is absolutely crazy. That is absolutely nuts. Nuts. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Anyway, welcome back. I'm looking. Am I allowed to, guys? Can I ask you a question? Am I allowed to shitcoin? Am I held to a different standard though? Like, am I allowed to shitcoin? Am I allowed to go into like some random meme that I like? Am I allowed to or no? Or are there different rules for me? I just want to know. I'm not allowed to, right? I'm not allowed to go ahead and participate in the markets. I got to tell you, man, that's one thing that really sucks about being in my position, that like you are held to such a standard that, and it's crazy. Hey, check out crypto, check out this market. It's unbelievable. Great. You're not allowed to participate though. Huh? Why? Why can't I participate in the markets? Besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I have, and XRP and Solana and Chainlink, I'm going to name out my whole fucking portfolio right now. Am I allowed to participate? I feel like I'm not. As soon as I go into something, it's, oh my God, David went in. Let's talk about it right now. It's crazy. I got put onto Devious, right? Remember, I don't know if anybody who's tuned in, I got put onto Devious. I like it. It looks like a sinister motherfucker. I like the meme. Why can't I fucking participate? Why can't I? It's my fucking money. It's my money. It's not yours. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up already. I can't with these people. I can't with these people. Some of these people are absolutely wild, man. Absolutely wild. They will not allow you to. Somebody always has to bitch about something. Yes, I'm 5'2". Yeah, host is 5'2". I'm 5'2". You guessed it. You're right. I'm 5'2". And I still got your girl calling me. Says a lot about you. Still got your girl calling me though. Tell I'm 5'2". I gotta tell you, the amount of people, the amount of men that come out the closet in this very space is remarkable. The amount of men, I gotta touch on this. The amount of men that come out the closet like this guy is insane. Crypto Twitter, honestly, has shown a lot of men have come out the closet. Can you imagine sizing up a dude? Unless you're fighting with a dude, you're not sizing him up. I'm going to say this again. Let's be clear. Unless you're fighting somebody, you're not sizing up a dude. That's not happening. Zero. I am coming out with that show. Coming Out the Closet. Starring young Jack Daniel 1. The life and times of this dude. This dude that doesn't understand that I'm trolling him. He thinks he's trolling me. That I can't. This is how I take back my comment from earlier. I take back my comment. I said that TikTok is smarter than Twitter. You guys are on the same, you're right there on the same fucking level. You're on the same level. This dude did not catch that I am trolling him. He's a walking condom commercial. He's not getting it. He's not understanding. Somebody help him out. Somebody help him out. Help this man out. Telling you, man, a lot of, I talk about always going with plan A. A lot of these people, their mothers should have been on plan B. A lot of Plan B kids should have been sent out to their mothers. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. It's 1:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I have to ask, do I talk about memes? I used to talk about memes all the time. Do I talk about memes? Is it worth it? Is it worth talking about? Do I talk about the war right now? Do I talk about what Trump has been saying? Yesterday, I got into a spirited actually, should I play some of this? Should I play? Maybe I should play some of this. Hold on. Where the fuck is it? Let's play some of this. Let me go into the Gokhshtein site. Hey, let's see. Let's play. The Rob Nelson show was on there yesterday. Go ahead and play this. Here we go. Let me go ahead and put this on. By the way, you can follow the Gokhshtein account. News is coming on the Gokhshtein account. I don't want to say anything yet. Been working on a few things. Something cool is happening on that side of the fence. So I'm excited. All right, this is me with no suit on yesterday. I'm on Rob's show.
Scenes on. Good to have you, David. No idea why you're running the show. It's going through your central control. I feel like I've been hacked by you. And we had lots of. This is my point. This is why I'm started with this. We're in a civil war, and all I will say is there is one person who agrees with me right now in this argument. You know who it is? Donald Trump. And you know why he agrees with me? Because 2 weeks later he fired Kristi. He fired Kristi Noem as Department of Homeland Security. He never publicly said other than we're looking into it. But he knows that was fucked up. That should not have happened. She is running a department where people are getting shot on the streets and they shouldn't be. Now, publicly, he's going to defend them. But privately, he's like, clean this mess up. Why are we killing civilians testing? He didn't think they were domestic tests.
I believe that we have these organizations that have put these people. Okay, his own parents came out and said that there's something wrong with him, meaning that psychologically he got into this. Read it. It's not me. It's his parents saying. His family, his own family said. It wasn't like he took off day off his nursing gig. He didn't. He wasn't working for a while. He was out here protesting.
Right.
You know who I blame? And I said this before. I don't even blame him. I blame the ICE raid, community centers, whatever they're called. I forgot the name of them. The anti-ICE, squads, where they're teaching people like him to you got to go out there and interfere and impede ICE from doing their job. That's my problem. I will agree with you again. I'm in agreement here with you. I think better training when it comes to Alex. What happened with Alex, better training was needed. But again, I can't sit here. What I'm trying to say is, me sitting in this chair right now, I can agree with you and say, man, he shouldn't have lost his life. I'm not an agent out there while it's happening, and I got to think within a millisecond somebody screams gun, that gun could be pointed at me. When it's funny, everybody talks about Renee Good, that she didn't do nothing. Yeah, when the video came out of the officer who had the camera, thankfully for him, because he didn't have the body camera, he had his own personal phone videotaping. When he goes out, you could see that she just wasn't driving away because she dropped off her kids and she was just driving and, she got caught in a bad situation. No, she was impeding. She was purposely impeding ICE from doing their job.
I agree.
So what
Hey,
happens?
David,
She's
we're in
fine. If it wasn't for the ice, on the floor, and her vehicle didn't spin, she would have hit him directly. She still hit him, but she would have hit him directly. And the guy, the ICE agent, it was already on record weeks before he already got hit. He already got hurt.
Well, we're gonna,
You know,
we're-
doing his job. Well,
we're
here,
gonna
I'm gonna
move-
land
we're
my
gonna-
plane. I promise, Rob. I'm gonna land my plane. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying anybody's life should be taken. So let me correct something so it doesn't get put out of context. Renee Good, Alex, they shouldn't have died. They should be alive today. Okay. I blame these organizations, these far left organizations that have gone batshit crazy, that are putting out this message, that are turning people. People are losing their minds and they're going out there. It reminds me of the Joker. They're just going out there and doing things that they normally wouldn't do.
land the plane. Now, I want to move on from this, but I'm just going to say this is somewhat proving my point. They shouldn't have died. You can blame those organizations. I'm going to blame the ICE agents. There was absolutely. This is my response to this is short. There is zero. Hold on, with Renee Good. There is zero justification for that guy shooting her. I don't care. She wasn't coming at 20 miles an hour. There was zero reason. Could dragged her out of the car, tossed her on the floor, kicked her, whatever. There was zero reason to shoot her. Like, she was not going to kill anyone. She was not even going to really hurt anyone. And they shot her. So all I will say is this, to go back to the core issue. I started out saying we're in a civil war. I think you and I agree on much more than we disagree on. And some of this is an argument I'm just trying to
But Rob, let me ask
bring
you,
out a
if a law
point.
enforcement agent told you to get out the car, if you impeded
Yep.
traffic or you violated, something, and a law enforcement agent came up to you and said, get out the car, what are you doing?
If I don't get out the car, he doesn't have a right to shoot me.
I'm not saying
This is
he has
the
a right to
argument
shoot
the
you.
right makes. No,
No,
but this,
but,
this is the
we're-
argument
we're
the right
acting-
makes.
no,
If
but-
you only
No,
comply,
but hold on,
if
you're acting like orders weren't given.
no, they were
Orders from the police
the issue-
were given.
David, okay, so I'll be honest. I have watched more abusive police behavior in my life, and I'm pro-cop, and I have friends who are cops. Cops are not all good guys. A lot of them are people with badges and guns, and they utilize their power in the most dickish ways possible. I have seen more abusive behavior from cops. I literally was with a woman and parked in the middle of the night, piled into her car, parked. Lucky we weren't in it. And the fire guys came and the cops came, and she was going, can somebody give me information? Like, what do I do with my car? And the cops got up in her face and were like, lady, if you don't shut up, we're going to arrest you. The fire guys literally stepped in and were like, dude, back off. We're the ones that smashed up her car. It's the least of what I've seen. So I will not defend cops if you just did what cops said, nothing bad would happen. That's maybe true, but it's not logical. And I'm not saying that protesters count here, but if you're in inner cities, kids are afraid to do what cops do because cops think they're bad. They run. They're trained to run. Again, doesn't justify it, but the conservative white, middle-class person's response of just do what the cops say. Yeah, you know what? If you
I grew up in Coney Island, though. Like, Rob, I grew up in Coney Island. I grew up in Coney Island, Rob. Like,
did you all do what the cop said?
Yeah, a cop
well, some
stopped
people
me.
don't. Did they die?
No, but it's the way that you carry the conversation. I'm not saying that there are not bad seeds in every industry. That's not what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm just saying this notion. You got to address my notion.
I've talked to a lot of law enforcement. Rob, I'm telling you, I've talked to a lot of them, and they tell me all the time, "We'll let you go." Like, if we stop somebody, we don't want to sit there and give you a ticket. If you're nice and you go about we're letting you go. If you're sitting there like a complete asshole, you're gonna give them every reason.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, you may give them every reason. I have a different view on this. I'm not saying that's good. I'm saying I've seen too many cops go rage when their orders don't get followed. If someone doesn't follow your orders, you have a right to force them to comply. You do not have a right to lose your temper, lose your shit, start kicking them, throwing them, punching them on the ground, and
I
shooting them.
agree.
And
I
I've
agree.
seen that too
I
many
agree.
times.
But
I've
I
seen that
agree.
too
I don't disagree with
many
you.
times.
But if they give you an order, if a law enforcement gives you an order, okay, you need to listen. Like it's
Yeah.
the law.
Okay.
I'm
So
not saying
let's put
if they just come into. I think everybody's going to get carried away and take this the wrong way. I'm not saying if a cop starts yelling and coming at you for no reason, get out, that you're supposed to obey. Okay. I mean, you would try to de-escalate the situation. Okay. You know, like I'm trying not to get shot in
I
that
do
situation.
what cops tell me to do. Listen, I've got my own cop stories. All right, listen, here's what's good about this. I want to end where we started. You and I pretty much agree on most things, and we're having this debate. Can you imagine you having this debate with one of those ICE wokey people?
But you
guys
can't.
wouldn't even get any common ground.
But you
There'd be
can't.
no
I can
there'd be
listen.
literally
You can't have a
No.
debate with anybody who thinks that. How many people have I watched this
That's what I'm
week,
saying.
Rob,
Wait,
say that they
that's-
hate America, they live in America, they hate America, and they hope that our military loses. Like, how do you have a
I know.
conversation with that kind of person?
I'm not saying you can. I'm saying we're in a political civil war.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
are.
I'm saying. If you and
And-
I can have a healthy debate. You couldn't have this debate with somebody super far left because there'd be no debate. It'd just be a shouting match, and they wouldn't hear
even
what
if I
you say.
wanted- But can you really understand what the far left is telling you? Like, I'm asking you because you're more in the middle than I am.
David, I'm making a case for a civil war. I'm not making a case for whether the North or the South
so
is
I'm
right.
saying, like,
I'm saying
how
both
do you
sides think they're
unify
right.
a country? How do you unify a country? Even if Donald Trump wanted to unify, right? But he has reasons
Right.
not to unify because they try to jail his ass for the rest of his life, him and his family. So obviously he has animosity. You'd probably have animosity, and a lot of people would too. I don't know how forgiving everybody
I've
would
said
be.
this. I've said this forever. I don't blame Trump for wanting revenge. I say he's on a comeback tour, 100%. I don't blame him for getting even. I think if anyone had done that to me or anyone, any politician, any person, it's amazing what he's put up with. I have defended him to the end. Of course, he's going to go after everyone. That said, Donald Trump wasn't going to unify the country to start with. He's an egomaniac who does what he wants and doesn't really want anyone to have any differing opinions. That's not a unifying force. He's a strong leader.
You know what's funny, Rob?
It's
When
almost
he
like he's
came
a
into-
dictator. It's almost like we need a dictator to force us to face up to choices, and that's maybe what
Okay,
we
let me
need.
ask you this question, Rob. Then, did you like him before he ran for office?
I didn't have an opinion either way.
Okay, great.
I liked him
You
when
did.
he did run for office. I liked him when he did run for office in the very
But-
beginning.
But think about
I
it.
still like
Before
him.
he ran
I
for
still
office,
like him.
everybody loved him, though. The left and the right.
Yes.
They all loved him. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, when he wins, the left hates him. You know why? Because
Because
he's
he became-
uncontrollable.
Yes.
You can't
And that's what I
control him.
liked. Look, what I liked about Trump from the beginning, from 2015, was I always said he was going to be a renegade. He was going to do what he wanted. He was going to break out of the boxes. He was going to be a bull in a china shop. I wanted that. I hate the way our institutions have been corrupted. I'm all for what he did. I am just saying I'm also capable of not having Trump, I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. There's people who have that. There's other people who have Trump adoration syndrome. I'm also capable of going, yes, what he's doing fundamentally has broken a lot of the deadlock. He's also, we talked about this on your show. He literally is fucking selling watches and coins with himself on it and like monetizing his name and likeness as president and says everything he does is great and anyone who disagrees with him is wrong. Like he wants it to be put a label on the Trump White House. It's sort of like at some point acknowledge this guy is an egomaniac. He's an absolute egomaniac.
So let me ask. But it's okay for Nancy Pelosi to somehow have $350 million. It's okay.
I didn't say that. I hate Nancy Pelosi.
But think about it. These people have been in their current positions for such a long time, what have they done for the Americans? $74,000 a year. Somehow their net worth is in the millions of dollars. Okay. They haven't done anything for the people, whether Democrat or Republican, Independent, Green Party, Yellow Party, whatever party. What has been done for America under the Biden and Obama administrations? What has 12 years of the Obama and Biden administration, what has been done?
You're missing my point, and that's the only issue I have here.
No, I hear you. You're saying Donald Trump is an egomaniac.
I wrote a book in 15 years ago, and I called for a national enema. I wanted every single member of Congress elected, whatever party thrown out, because I feel like the only way you get anything is if you start clean, because the system's so corrupting. And I love that Donald Trump came in and was a renegade. And I still like that. I'm just saying, I'm also capable of acknowledging who he is, what he does, that everything he does isn't good. And some of what he does is so selfish, it's not in the best interest of the country. And it's fine. He's going to serve his time.
What do you want? You want him to wait until he's done with his presidency? Because when he was done with being the 45th president of the United States of America, he's allowed to sell his brand, is he not?
No, he's doing it as president, David. Come on. I saw the Trump watch ad the other day.
No, I get that. All I'm saying is when he left, when he was done with his 4 years, is he not allowed to sell the Trump sneakers? Is he not allowed to do these things?
No, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
I get it. He's in office right now. Hold on. I get what you're saying. Right. I understand, but
he's commercializing the president.
We live in a capitalistic society. If Nancy Pelosi was selling shoes, I'd have no problem. The problem I have is that you can't tell. No, I wouldn't, because I'm not. I'm not one of these crazy righties. I'm not one of these crazy Republicans. I believe in capitalism. Take advantage of it. I have one problem. The only problem that I have, and you could go back and forth on it. Trump is now in crypto, something that he did not understand in his first term. He said it himself. Didn't like Bitcoin, the US dollar. Now he understands crypto. Obviously, his sons are heavy into crypto. They understand Bitcoin. I mean, Eric is in ABTC. I mean, you got World Liberty Finance. That's where people can start looking and saying, oh, because he's benefiting, because he's the president, the organization, the Trump. That's where you can go ahead and have these arguments. Him selling watches and coins and hats and Rob, honestly, that's some petty ass shit that I don't care about. That's probably the bigger issue that you want to go after. Is like, is it okay here? Because there have been a lot of people in crypto, Rob, that have said, you know what? I had Charles on my show. Charles said something that you can debate. He said, if Trump would have came out with his meme token after the Clarity Act is passed, then number one, you get the Clarity Act passed, and then nobody can really say anything. Like there's no conversations. But being that he came out with the Trump coin first, now the Democrats don't want to pass anything.
You're right. Listen, I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to do this again next Wednesday. This is fun. I'm going to agree with you. And the coin was just an example. And we can talk about more later. My real issues with Trump is not the watch or the coins. It's just obnoxious. My real issue is that I don't think a lot of what he does is being done because he wants what's best for the country. He's doing it for his ego. And that includes some of his bigger decisions where he wants to be on Mount Rushmore more than anything. Now, so do most presidents. So I'm not going to, you compare them to anybody else, I'm not going to say their egos were any different. They're all egomaniacs. I just hate the fact that too many people in my mind see Trump as can do no wrong. And I'm like, Trump can do a lot of wrong.
No.
I give you 30 seconds.
Look at Tucker. What are you talking about? Look at Tucker. Even though Tucker was never a fan of Trump, I can't even go there because Nick Fuentes used Trump. He said he misses Obama. Okay, so we already know he's a Democrat, full-blown Democrat. Megyn Kelly never liked Trump. All of a sudden, she loved him because of his whole comeback story. Everybody jumped on and they milked him. Or you can name all these people now that are coming out after this whole Iran situation, and now they're against Trump. Now they're like, it's all of Israel. Israel pushed the... You know what?
Yeah,
there are a lot of people like myself that can call it for what it is. I like 90% of what Trump does. I don't like the 10% of it. I already made an example. Robert Mueller, he served our country. He did a lot for America. Do I like what he did to Trump? No, but I think Trump shouldn't have tweeted what he tweeted. But he's angry. He's angry because he was, you had the Democratic Party that weaponized the legal system to try to put him into jail for life. So, you know what?
Yeah.
Again, that brings me back to Rob, and I'll land it, I promise, to say that, yes, in a decade from now, hopefully a unifier comes along, okay, where we can bring both sides together, but both sides need to be sane. Okay, you can't have a radical, you can't talk to the radical left.
And that's where we're gonna leave it, because I'm not sure that's possible, and that's what scares me. If we enter a full-on political civil war, it will take a whole lot for anyone to bring both sides to the table. And that's a future conversation. Listen, this is fun. This is good. I enjoy this. Hopefully those of you watching enjoy it too. This is what it should be. This is what debate and dialogue looks like. And I love you, David. I love doing this. This is good.
I love you too, man. So listen, we
This
are
is
all
awesome.
entitled to our opinion. That's all. We can walk
Yeah,
away
we're doing this.
disagreeing like grown-ass men.
We're gonna keep doing this. I love it. I appreciate you joining me with your flag behind you and everybody for watching.
God bless America.
Yep, I second that. Yep, and I do like Trump. All right, we'll talk to you later.
That was me talking on Rob Nelson's show, which you can go ahead and catch on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It plays on the GNN network. So there you go. You can go ahead and catch that. Well, I'll be on there on Wednesdays, and we'll be talking about politics or trending issues in general. What I did say on there, a lot of this stuff, obviously you guys might have not caught there, but I believe that both sides. So here's my breakdown of stuff. I believe the left is crazy. I think the radical left is crazy, and then there's a radical right, and they're not good either. So I acknowledged both on that show yesterday. I was like, there's the left and there's the right, and but I'm talking about the real radical right, and then you have the real radical left. They're never going to agree on anything. They're looking for chaos. You're gonna have to bring in a unifier, and that could take a decade. That could take a decade for us to finally start to heal as a country, because it is the United States of America. It's not the divided states of America. And right now we're divided. We're very divided. The Democrats are going to vote for Democrats. Republicans are going to vote for Republicans. Independents really hold the key to all the elections. That's really it. It's the independents, the people that are on the fence, that hold the key to who sits in office. And right now, we have to ask this question, whether or not the people that are in office are working for us. Are they working for the American people, or are they working for special interests? That's what you have to ask. And you can't blame everything on Israel. You can't blame everything on Israel. You got to stop with the AIPAC. It makes a fraction. They donate a fraction of what special interests, big pharma, big oil, tobacco. I could keep going. The amount of money that others give to politicians, donate to politicians, it's way more than AIPAC. AIPAC doesn't give enough money to influence the United States of America. That's the truth. That is true. See, that is true. If let's say AIPAC was the number one donator out of all the PACs, then you can go ahead and say, okay, Israel might have influence on the United States of America. But no, fraction, little bit, a little bit compared to oil, big pharma, tobacco. Are you kidding me? Have you seen the numbers there? Go look at the dentistry business, man. They donate more than anybody. That's why when these arguments come up, I'm like, what are we talking about? These are narratives that have been pushed out by people with agendas or who have been paid off, because there are people that are being paid off by Qatar and others to go ahead and push the agenda. We need to bring in more people into Congress that will work for the American people. That's it. And as for Trump, I like Trump. Y'all already know I like Trump a lot. Do I agree with everything? No. I'm sure Trump might not agree with my hairstyle. Bro, listen, we can disagree on a lot of things, but for the most part, 90% of the things, like as I stated, 90% of the things that he does, I agree with. Maybe the 10% I don't. Again, I go back to the Robert Mueller tweet. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it, but I'm not in his shoes either. Here's a man, Trump, who had his life, 2 assassination attempts on his life, even more than that, okay? But 2 assassination attempts. They weaponized the legal system against Trump to put him into prison for the rest of his life. I mean, he could have a reason. They raided his house. He's upset that they did things to Melania's closet where they threw, lingerie on the floor, all this kind of stuff roaring through her closet. Maybe, just maybe, he's upset. Yeah, maybe he has a grudge. I mean, you got to think about that kind of stuff. Like, put your political fucking affiliations to the side for a second and think, like, how would you react? How would you react when the BBC and other news stations manipulated January 6th videos, making it seem like Trump gave the order to attack the Capitol? How would you feel? And they're being sued and he's winning these lawsuits because it's the truth. The BBC acknowledged that they went ahead and cut it up and portrayed it as he went ahead and gave the order. So yeah, maybe, just maybe he got a vendetta here, man. And how can you, like, if I'm the president and I'm a Republican, right? But how if I want to work with Democrats, how can I when they're all the way? They're not even radical left at this point. They're all the way on another goddamn planet. How do you come to some sort of agreement to working together? Bernie Sanders, look at this man. Bernie Sanders, every single time he tweets or he gets in front of a camera, he's talking about taxing somebody. You're already tax billionaires. Let me ask you a question. What incentive is there for billionaires? Sit back on this one. What incentive is there for billionaires to actually work? When you're taxing them or attempting to tax them up the yin yang. Like, what's the incentive? First of all, this is the country of many opportunities, right? Right? Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Land of opportunity. Most billionaires and millionaires come from broke and humble beginnings. Go look it up. The stats don't lie. Over 95% of millionaires, billionaires, they come from humble beginnings, like literally humble beginnings. They're not giving money. If they weren't born in the Lucky Sperm Club, they're coming from the humblest of beginnings, okay? And they're working their asses off. They work their asses off to achieve greatness, and they do. And now you're telling them, because these people, these millionaires and billionaires provide jobs in the private sector. They provide jobs. So now they achieve, they hit their goals, they achieve, they're finally getting rewarded, because for years, for decades, they didn't see a penny. You guys act like the entire time as they're building out their companies that they're seeing all this money. Elon Musk is a great example. This man was fucking bankrupt. In the 11th hour, they asked him to choose whether you want to save SpaceX or fucking Tesla. He said, I'm going with both. There's even a story he says it like he woke up, like he left PayPal a billionaire. He tried to create 2 fucking companies. He has no money. Let me ask you a question. Okay, you tax more billionaires. You go ahead. At this point, you tax billionaires at 90%, and you let billionaires keep 10% of their money, which is absolutely crazy. Okay, where's this money going? Where is this money going? Because don't tell me it's going to infrastructure, because the infrastructure is absolutely dog shit. Where's the money going? Where has this money gone to? Elon exposed it too with Doge. The Department of Government Efficiency exposed money, taxpayer money, going to absolute dog shit. We're sending money to other countries, talking and teaching about. We're teaching other countries. We're paying millions of dollars to teach other countries about gender identification. What? I don't understand how, like, I don't give a fuck whether you like me or not, whether you agree with me or not. But at this topic, you got to sit back because you're paying the same taxes and you got to say, hold up. I can hardly afford to put gas in my car, yet some country that I can't even pronounce their fucking name, they're getting fucking $30 billion to teach people about gender identity. That is fucked up. That is fucked up. That is crazy. Like, that is absolutely crazy. 100% insanity. And to have, like, think about this, the SAVE Act. Now all they want in the bill is to pass a bill that requires people to show identification when voting. We have very important elections. These elections are important to the United States of America. Americans that were born in the United States of America, they should be able to pick the people, or people that have obviously graduated to the fact that they are now American citizens. They are the only people that should be able to vote for the highest positions in the land. I don't know where the argument is. You're required to show ID to get a job. You're required to show ID to get welfare. You're required to show ID for a lot of things. You're required to show ID to get liquor. You're required to show ID to get into a casino. I don't understand. Why is it so difficult to understand that you should show ID when voting? What is the problem in that? What is the problem in this discussion where you need to show ID when voting? The socialist mayor of New York City required 2 pieces of ID in order for you to shovel snow and get paid for it. What more? What more evidence? What more common sense do we need here? I don't get it, because you know why I don't get it? I'm not saying anything wrong. This is common sense. It's literal common sense. We need to make sure that people in America are voting and not somebody who traveled, got in illegally, is now voting in our elections. There's nothing that I said just now that is wrong. Come on, man. Like, I get it. Like, a lot of you guys tune in and a lot of you guys don't agree with my takes, and that's okay. That's okay. We should be able to agree to disagree and debate topics like normal individuals, like normal human beings, like adults in the room. We're allowed to do these things. It's okay. This is good. It's healthy. It's healthy to have disagreements. But this one, this to disagree as Americans, whether you were born here or you got your citizenship after going through the process, as Americans, to debate this issue, Democrat or Republican, Independent, Green Party, Libertarian, doesn't matter, to debate this very issue is crazy. We should all be on the same page. And we should all say, yeah, absolutely. We shouldn't have people voting that aren't citizens of the United States of America, that can't provide ID. It's impossible to disagree with somebody on everything. It's just fucking impossible. The only reason you're doing it is because you're so loyal to your motherfucking party. But America comes first. I keep saying this. It's America first. It's not your goddamn party. I'm a Republican, but fuck being a Republican. It's America first before anything else. Like legit, it is America first before anybody else. That's why I'm anti-war. The reason why I'm anti-war is because I don't want our men and women that serve in the military to go out there and give up their lives. There has to be a real concrete reason that that happens, that they put themselves in that kind of position, that the President of the United States of America puts our military in that kind of position. Yes, I agree with the current operation or the war that's happening in Iran. The reason why I believe in it is because I believe Iran is a bad actor. I really do. I wasn't so much gung-ho on Iraq, okay? You could look back at my tweets, I think, and you can see I wasn't really a big fan of what happened in Iraq. I didn't believe in that. Iran is different. To me, Iran has done nothing but sponsor terrorism. And also, they lied. They said that they don't have missiles that can go out of their region. And look what happened. They have missiles that can go ahead and hit the UK. And who knows, maybe hit the United States of America. For them to have a nuclear weapon would be catastrophic for the entire world. They could look what they've done with the oil ships. Imagine they have a nuclear weapon. They can go ahead and say, we're shutting this shit down, and what are you going to do about it? And if you try to do something about it, we're going to use our nukes. Do you understand what kind of position we're in? And nobody's had the balls to address it. And that's why it's gone on for so long. If we had a leader, okay, that would have addressed the situation a long time ago, everything would have been great. The West in general is at fault for what is happening in Iran right now. The West went ahead and allowed for this regime to come into place in 1979. The West is at fault for this. I don't know, man. To me personally, everything that I'm saying here, I truly, honestly believe I have a point. That I am actually speaking from a place of facts. And though some people might say it's my opinion, my opinions are coming from these facts that have been laid out. It's just like the voter ID. I'll go back to it. I don't give a fuck if you're a Democrat. Me and you can sit here and we can look each other in the eyes and say, like, bro, voter ID is necessary. And there shouldn't be any discussion about that. When I go vote, when it comes midterms, I should be showing ID. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. If you want to disagree with me, no problem. No problem. But that's a crazy stance. That is an absolute crazy stance to take. I want somebody to explain to me why you wouldn't want voter ID in place. That'd probably be the better that'd probably be my better counter to an argument like this. Why not have voter ID? You have ID for everything else, but not for elections? I'm lost. We're voting in people that represent us and our best interest, but we have anybody can walk in and vote? Like, is that what we're doing? Like, is that what we're doing? I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say. If we can't come to a conclusion as a united front, if we can't look at this as a united front, we can have our disagreements, but we can't look at what is. If we're so blinded by our hate, this country's never going to get better. It will stay divided. Both sides, Republicans and Democrats, have to make concessions. And I'm talking about the people, your party, you know, I don't give a fuck who you're aligned with. At some point, you have to make concessions and say, you know what? I was just saying like this is wrong because due to my party. At some point, you have to say, you know what? I'm brainwashed. This is a little bit crazy. I've been saying some crazy ass shit. It's crazy. I see a jackass in here, the Green Hornet from the TikTok side. He's saying, David, all you do is push hate rhetoric. What are you talking about? I have not, anybody who knows me, anybody who's watched me knows I have never pushed hate. I don't even know. Hate is a strong word. That's number one. Hate is absolutely a strong word. I attempt everything possible to stay away from the word hate. I could dislike somebody, but I never use the word hate. Hate is a strong word, very strong. Second, pushing me saying that you should have ID to vote is hate. Me saying that I don't want undocumented individuals in the United States of America is hateful. Hold on, I got to get with this. Me saying that I don't want undocumented aliens in this country is hateful. 15 million undocumented individuals are in this country right now taking away American jobs. We're paying taxes. They're not. They're going to the emergency room getting treated for free. We're paying out the fucking ass for insurance. I'm wrong. I'm being hateful. No, I'm not being hateful. I'm not being hateful at all. There's a line. You want to get into this country, you wait. Just like my parents did. Just like a bunch of people I know. There are so many people that waited online to get into this country and did it the fucking right way. They did it the right way. Because we have laws in place. We have policies in place. So there's nothing hateful about it. Those are the rules, and you should follow them. Hate. What hate? What hate? What hate are you talking about? I'm a God-fearing man. I believe in God, unlike others here that love to fucking speak. What you talking about? You guys say things to say things. And this is why the country is stuck where it's stuck. It's wild. I have a lot of verses that I like. I have a lot of verses. With you guys, it's essentially no weapon formed against me shall, you can go ahead and finish that one off. With you guys, that's the one that I got to use. No weapon formed against me. That's the one I use against all you motherfuckers. Y'all can finish that one. I'm sure you know it too. I just gave you a verse. I'm so lost with these people. I am Jewish and I know the Bible more than you do. This is the wildest part. This is wild. I'm Jewish and I know more verses than this dude. Like, this is what I'm like. These people are. These aren't serious people. I got to tell you, these are not serious people. These are not serious people. Not serious. Not at all. And there's nothing, honestly, and for those who don't know a verse, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. We are at this point in this country where nobody believes in God. We've lost God. I'll tell you that. We lost the concept of God. Only now have we seen an uptick in people, young people going to church or synagogue, praying or acknowledging God. Only now. Only as of now that has happened. It's sad. It's sad. It really is sad that only now, because for years, I think God's been put to the sidelines by a lot of people. If, here's a good take for you. If you really believed in God and you feared him, you wouldn't do half the shit that you do. You know what gets me? Like, I'm reading this room right now. You know what gets me? You claim to know Bible verses. You claim to be a God-fearing person. Yet you are in this room right now doing things that God would never do. Like belittling somebody for their opinion. So don't say that you believe in God. And I say this to anybody. When people tell me they believe in God, but they do the opposite and they talk shit about people behind their backs, they try to go ahead and stick the dagger in their back while they're not looking, but then they claim they believe in God. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in God. God doesn't teach you to go ahead and be nasty to people. Think about what I'm saying. If you believe in God teaches you to go ahead and be nasty to people. Is that what God teaches? I don't think so. I don't believe so. I don't. Listen, if you don't like somebody, move. Keep it moving. That's what I mean by that. Keep it moving. And this is not me saying you can't debate with somebody. So like right now, I'm on this show every single day. I go ahead and talk about crypto. I talk about politics. Here we are into religion. And I'm talking, and you're allowed to disagree with me. We're allowed to have a cordial conversation. We can have a debate. And after the debate, we can agree to disagree. A lot of you guys do that. A lot of you guys do that. then there are a lot of you guys that are talking about God in this very room right now. You're talking about God, yet you've come in here looking for a reason to chop me down. There are people that tune into my show looking for a reason to chop me down. Is that what God told you to do today? Did God tell you to wake up today and come to David's show and try to go ahead and chop him down, chop down his character, and slander his ass? Is that what God told you to do today? I don't think that's what God told you to do today. That's what you decided to do today. That's because you don't believe in God. That's bottom line. And what happens when you, like with Green Hornet right now, what happens when you get your point across and he has nowhere to go? He goes for insults. Like, okay, which proves my point. Did God tell you to wake up today and go after me and insult me and tear me apart in front of people? Did God tell you that? Or is the devil in your ear? See, I think people actually follow the devil and not God, but they believe they're following God, but they're really following the devil. That's what I really believe. That's what I really believe a lot of people do. But somehow they claim that God. No, has nothing to do with God. Welcome to the breakdown. See, I talk to God every day. Good or bad, I talk to God every day. And I say thank you. Because when the good happens, you thank God. When bad happens, you thank God for the lessons. Because God will not give you something, a challenge that you cannot overcome. Some things we don't understand, but there's a reason why God has put that shit into your life. One day you will understand it. That's why I laugh. I fear nobody. I fear absolutely nobody. And I say that respectfully. I fear nobody except God. There's nobody to fear. What's this? Hold on. There's something here. There's something. Did I post this up? Hold on. Let's see. Man, I didn't post this up. It was a great quote. Oh, man. Hold on. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, shit, man. I like this. I actually like this, but it's not the one that I was looking for. But it says, I'd rather pull up a chair at a table full of sinners who admit their mistakes than sit with people who pretend to be saints. I'm going to read that again. I'd rather pull up a chair at a table full of sinners who admit their mistakes than sit with people that pretend to be saints. I seen that yesterday. I was like, man, that is so fucking true. That is absolutely so fucking true. But there's one that I'm looking for. I like this one. I actually like this one. One thing about tables, they always turn. Don't ever think you can create chaos in someone else's life and you can just walk around on a bed of roses. What you create for others will soon be your existence. Karma doesn't skip a beat. And that's true. I'm out here giving quotes and shit. I read quotes all the time. I read in general. I'm just trying to find. I'm trying to find this thing that I read yesterday, though, and I didn't save it, man. Fuck. Man, this sucks. Damn. I can't find it. Fuck, man. And I guarantee I'm going to find this after the show. I'm probably going to find it after the show. That sucks. Welcome to the breakdown. I'm the type of person that I'm going to look for this the entire time. I'm going to look for this the entire time. Come on, where is it, man? Come on. This sucks, man. Okay, I can't find it. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. Appreciate everybody tuning in. It is 2:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I didn't even notice the time. We had Landy on. We talked about the markets. Landy talked about how there are a lot of people that are delusional about the markets, that are that continue to go ahead and put out messages stating that, we are in a bull market. Landy fully believes that we are in a bear market. I should start putting out my own FA and PA out there. I might start doing that too. By the way, I also created a TikTok chat. So apparently TikTok allows you to create a group chat where you can fit 300 people into a chat, and you're allowed to do up to 20 chats with 300 people in them. So I did create one. We will test that out. I want to make sure that it works in our favor here, and that we don't invite unnecessary individuals into the fold to go ahead and absolutely destroy the chats. Obviously, at this point, I'm more so on TikTok than I am on Twitter. Though, shout out to everybody who tunes in on Twitter to go ahead and watch me talk about the markets, watch me talk to guests that come onto the show. I appreciate it. Um, we will still do the TG thing, but I'd rather do it if I have the ability to do it on TikTok. I'd rather do it on TikTok. It'll make it a lot easier for me to maybe make a video or do a pop-up live space. Like there's a lot of things that you could do on TikTok versus doing it on TG. But again, we can go ahead and chat about that. Obviously, if that were to happen, Fran and Tech would be in charge of that side. Obviously, they've done a phenomenal job moderating the TikTok chat. And I appreciate them very much. Again, when we talk about God, and now, the God subject probably touched me here. Don't talk about God if you don't believe him. Don't talk about God when you only reach out to God when times are bad. And don't pretend to be a God, fearing person when you have the ability to walk into a goddamn chat and just start spewing at your mouth. A lot of you are praying to the wrong people. That's bottom line. I will invite everybody, whether we agree or disagree. I will invite people that obviously act like adults in the room that actually want to win together. That's who I'm trying to go ahead and that's who I'm trying to put this together for. So I appreciate once again, sponsors, Midnight. Shout out to Midnight. Great partner. Great sponsor. Much respect to Charles, JJ, then the entire team over at Midnight. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Also, Polymarket. Clap. Polymarket, the official prediction market sponsor of the Breakdown and the personal DG brand. I showed today they have I think it was 68%. The odds are that that the DHS funding is not going to come this month. It's going to go into next month. You could check that out. Cake Wallet, one of the most secure wallets, well-built wallets in this space. Cake Pay as well. Great feature, Cake Pay. I talked about it. You should go ahead and watch the video. Cake Pay, great. And you have Vic and Seth, and you have a lot of people on that team that are building. I can't wait to get Vic on the show so we can chop it up again. And again, I want to talk to him about OpenClaw because it seems like, again, he went ahead and spun up an AI agent. Shout out to everybody who's given back their Apple Mac Minis back to Apple because everybody ran to the store to get a Mac Mini, and now they're not using it anymore because they don't know what the fuck they're doing with AI agents. If they can't, I'm telling you, this generation, if they can't get it right the first time, they're out. They're moving on to the next. People's Reserve, shout out to People's Reserve, shout out to CJ. I like this concept, this entire product has been missing in our space for a while. I'm not saying it hasn't been out there, but we needed something like this where people can use their collateral to buy a home, man. Like that is important. Like a lot of people want to buy a home. At times you got to go ahead and sell off your crypto and fuck, it sucks. You got to reach into savings, which that is Bitcoin to me. It's savings. You got to reach into that. You got to buy a home with something that's going to appreciate into the millions. Check out People's Reserve. And we'll talk more about that as we move along with this program. Episode 690. We are 10 episodes away from 700. And that's a big milestone for me. 700. Okay. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And we will be back. And April we'll get back on track in April. A lot of things are cooking up. Media appearances at Bitcoin 2026. Anybody going to the Bitcoin conference 2026, holler at me. Consensus. There's a lot of things that are going on right now. Getting prepared for future token 2049s, all this stuff in the works. So, yeah, I haven't talked about shit like that because honestly, like I said, it's like Cillian Murphy, man. I want to go there, do my job, I'm out. Like, I'm not trying to socialize. And maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe somebody in my position, they would love to go ahead and network. I network, but I just don't want to sit there and. My kind of networking is let's talk for 5 minutes and see if there's something here. If not, let's call it a day, and I'll holler at you on social media. That's me. That's my personality. I'd rather be with the people. I'd rather chop it up with regular folks from a distance. I still think that social distancing should apply because a lot of you guys smell like onions. Social distancing, chop it up, say hello, I'm out, you know? I'm out. That's the type of person I am. I want to get back to work. I just want to work. I want to get back to work. Anyway, one thing that I learned a few months ago is that if I want to get to the next level, and this is for any future entrepreneurs that are watching right now, if you want to get to the next level, you gotta, I've already left my comfort zone. I've already stepped outside of my comfort zone. I already have done these things. But if you want to go to a certain level, you got to go harder. So, and you got to do things that you're not going to be comfortable doing. You're not going to be comfortable doing a lot of the things that are going to make you successful, but you got to do them in order to reach the mountaintop. And that's it. Bottom line. Shout out to everybody who tuned in again. Thank you very much. On that note, have a blessed day and an even better tomorrow. And that's my boy Akil Patterson who says that.